You guys remember how at the very end of the last episode, I said that we're gonna have to do something soon to protect ourselves from the Salmon Bros because it's only a matter of time before they do something big? Well, they did something big. And while I would love to sit here and muse about what sort of dangers a Minecraft meteor could potentially pose, I just have no idea what they have planned next, and we've got to get going. Which is why I think it's high time we put these little elevator shaft type things to good use, and we finally get started on some kind of underground bunker. Okay, I probably should have thought about how I would get out of here before I dug a hole straight down. Oops. So I dug straight down and got a simple water elevator in before realizing that I should probably put in a beacon before I actually get to digging all of this deep slate. The beautiful thing about working all the way underground is that I don't have to listen to all of this rain. Let's get digging. Oh, come on. I just do not understand how I can hear this thunder all the way underground. Just gonna borrow Chozo's bed real fast. Okay, now we can start digging. The good news is that we have a decently sized area to work with now. The bad news is that we've got the easy, mindless stuff all out of the way, and now I've actually got to think. Oh, and I might have found a whole bunch of tuff down here. But I mean, when you find tuff and you already have a beacon set up, I mean, there's really only one option. And this thing was massive. I mean, just look at all this. This is just every single bit of this was all tuff that I mined out. And we ended up with 2 full shulker boxes filled with tuff, which is gonna come in insanely handy later. And like I said, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with this room, so I think I'm just gonna do what I always do when I don't know what to do. And I'm just gonna start, I don't know, mining out an area, and we'll just see what happens. Well, I've been pretty busy down here, and, well, busy with what? I'm not entirely sure, but wow, this place is bright. Color palette aside, I don't know exactly what we're gonna do with this room yet, but for once, aesthetics are actually going to be something that I worry about later, because for now, I want to focus on, well, the secret part of the secret hideout. And I think that the first thing that I want to do is I want to put in a secret door. And believe it or not, I've actually never made a 3x3 piston door before, so I am really excited about this. And not that I'm gonna design it myself or anything. I mean, I only have time for so much redstone. What I'm gonna do is I found a really cool design for a 3x3 piston door from a channel called Dynamite Dude. I'll of course link it down in the description, but I'm just gonna pop this in real fast. And well, let's be honest, it's not much of a change. But if we press this lever, we have a fantastic piston door. And yes, I know it doesn't lead anywhere yet, but before I do that, I kind of want to add in a skulk sensor and a lectern and just make it so that we can open this door automatically and then have it close automatically behind us. And I don't really think it'll be that hard. So here's what I'm thinking. We're just gonna come right underneath here and maybe we dig out this area just a tiny little bit. Okay, perfect. Let's set a little line of redstone dust right here. We can put the calibrated skulk sensor on top of it. And then since I want it to be waterlogged, I'll surround it with these blocks like so. And now set up the lectern, and we got to make sure that we set up 15 pages so that this works properly. Put that in and get a not a repeater, a comparator right there so that it can read the signal. And now if I put it onto like just a random page, perfect. So now the shulk, I don't know why I keep trying to call this a shulker. Now the skulk sensor won't react to every little move we make. So now once this is activated, I can put a repeater right here. And I think I want to make it into, oh, what do we call this exactly? It's kind of like a hopper clock, just without the hoppers, basically. I don't know. I honestly don't know how much sense that makes, but let me just put this together real fast. Okay, does that make sense? Basically, the signal is going to come down from the skulk sensor. It's going to activate this little comparator chain, which is going to extend the signal for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure exactly how long, but that should extend this piston, pushing the redstone block over and then activating this redstone line, which will go all the way up to power the door. Let's see if this works. Just going to take this and set this to page 2, which means it should activate when we jump. So let's jump down. And that is a great amount of time. I actually really like that. So this should be the perfect amount of time for us to open the door, walk through, and then the door should shut right behind us. And since we've got this skulk sensor right here, it should work whether we're on this side or that side of the door. So yeah, I think this works great. Let me just get a little redstone so that we can double check to make sure it works. Okay, we've got a redstone line running all the way from down here to up here. I know it's not pretty, but I mean, I just don't care. And let's see if this is working. So let's set this back to 2 again, like so. And then actually, let me, come over here and just get into a position where I can see the door open. All right, and it should work like... Oh, it's beautiful. It stays powered and then it unpowers. Oh my goodness, guys, this is so great. So let's just real quickly, let's set this to 5. And that's just the easiest one because that's, you know, equipping a helmet or something like that. So yeah, see, it responds to that, but nothing else. Well, pretty much nothing else. I mean, honestly, later on, we can swap it to basically anything that we want to. Just for now, while we're getting it set up, I think this is gonna be great. Actually, it just now occurs to me that we need to make sure that the door is in the closed state automatically. Kind of a silly oversight, but it should be a very, very easy fix because we can just send this redstone dust up here, destroy that, and change this to a redstone torch. Perfect. So that is closed. Let me just sneak my way through here. And now if I activate my helmet, it opens the door. We can walk through. Oh yeah, there's plenty of time, and then it shuts behind us. Here's hoping I didn't forget anything else important. Okay guys, I'm sitting here editing and I just replayed that clip and I cannot believe that I just destroyed the door like that to walk through when I could have very, very easily just removed my helmet and, you know, walked through the way it's intended. Sometimes I wonder about myself. But let's take a quick break because there's something that I really want to do right now. You see, way over in this direction, there's something new that's popped up. Now this probably isn't going to make a lot of sense to anybody that isn't into Star Wars, but this is the podracer scrapyard, and this is just so cool. It was put together by Star Kings to celebrate Star Wars Week, and if you couldn't tell, we're actually all going to be designing pod racers. And if I look at this book, there's probably, let's see, rules: don't sabotage, stay within the lines, we can name it, and we have until May 10th. So yeah, the rules are really simple, and we're gonna build a pod racer, and I'm pretty sure he mentioned that there's going to actually be a prize for the best one, so I think we're gonna have to put a little bit of effort into this. I mean, not that I wasn't gonna put in effort anyway, but guys, I really want to win this. Well, I planned to make a cool time-lapse for you, but it seems Replay Mod is not gonna cooperate with me, and I mean, honestly, I just cannot be bothered to... Wow, that was so much easier to take apart than it was to put together. And actually completely destroying the pod racer and recreating it was totally worth it because today I learned you can actually get 4 chickens from 1 egg. I was honestly so surprised by it that I kind of thought I was hallucinating at first, and I had to go back into the replay to actually double check, but yep, I only placed 1 egg. Okay guys, I really like this. Let me go into free cam just so that you can see it a little bit better. But man, I basically never do vehicles, and this just turned out so cool. We've got the little twin engines in front, and the shape of these is great. I love the little iron bar in the front. And then the plasma binder in the middle, I just used some amethyst and some glass. And then for the repulsor craft in the back, I decided to go with a closed design. And one of the coolest things about this is you can actually climb inside of it. Let me just pillar up here real fast, and we can come inside like this. Oh, guys, this is really cool. We can actually get here. Let me oh, I love this so much. I might even make this the thumbnail. But yeah, a lot of work went into this, and I you know, there's a pressure plate there, so you have to put all the trapdoors back up. But if we drop down, I can come over to this book, and yeah, so basically we had to make a name. The name of it is called Fortune's Friend, and we have an optional backstory portion, and I kind of went crazy with it. Guys, StarKing's really nailed this project because I happen to be not just a huge Star Wars nerd, but I'm also kind of a nerd for storytelling in general. So yeah, I may have spent, you know, like 2 hours writing that backstory. Not a big deal. That being said, it is pretty long, so I'm not gonna read it all right now and interrupt the flow of the video, but I'm thinking maybe at the end, you know, just as a reward for you guys making it to the end of the video, I might end the episode by me reading through the backstory. So if you're interested in that, you'll have to make it to the end of the video. But for now, we need to head back to the bunker because there's still a whole bunch of work that we need to finish there. Actually, real quick before we head back to the headquarters, there's actually something that I need. And, well, I'm gonna be honest, I talked to a whole bunch, I think it's up here. Here we go. I talked to a whole bunch of people and I was really hoping I could find a TNT farm. Or, sorry, not TNT farm, I mean a TNT shop. But it seems as though there's nobody on the server that is selling TNT, which means, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to make my own. Which, I mean, on one hand, I do have everything, but I mean, sand is just really annoying to get a hold of. Gunpowder's not so bad, because we do have that gunpowder farm down below. But sand is kind of a pain, and I use it for a lot of stuff. That needs to be completely full. That's better. But yeah, without a TNT shop, what are you gonna do? And we've got a shulker box full of TNT, so let's head over to our headquarters. And I think this is the perfect time to let you know what exactly I have planned. You see, behind this door, which I'll open up real fast. Oh, this is just so satisfying. I want to have a minecart track. That's right, we're going kind of old school with this. I want to have like a really cool minecart track that goes all sorts of places underground. Maybe we'll have like some drops, some tunnels. I mean, obviously we'll have tunnels because it's mostly underground. But you know what I mean, we're gonna have a whole bunch of really cool stuff going on. The awkward portion though is that I don't really want to show the exact path that we take to get there because, well, as you'll see in a second, I've got some really cool redstone planned to make it, you know, somewhat secure. And if I go into the video and I reveal the entire path, then, well, it's gonna be really easy to know exactly where it is. That being said, in order to make that path, I'm gonna need to use a whole bunch of TNT, and I think that's just gonna be way too satisfying for me to not include that in the video. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna explode the first portion of the rail track, and then we can get into like the lock system and we can go from there. But guys, this is gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for this. And there we go, we've got a gigantic area. In fact, it's so big we can fly through here without any trouble at all. And now keep in mind, this is just like the first tiny stretch of it, but you'll notice I put in these little obsidian barriers, and that is because while I was digging, I came across an amethyst geode, and I think it'd be really cool if we have like our track coming up over from this side, and then maybe it drops down through the geode down into this hole right here, and down here at the bottom is where we're gonna have our very first what do I want to call this, like security feature, lock something or other. You know, this will make a lot more sense if I go over and show you. And this little baby right here is what I like to call the nobody gets through unless you have the correct passcode, and if you don't have the correct passcode, then something really bad happens to you. Enator. Okay, the name's a work in progress, but this always happens to me. Every single time. Why does this always happen to me? And the worst part about this is I just slept and I have to get this recording done right now, so we're just going for it. Sorry for the rain. Now, essentially how this works is I get into the minecart right here, and this right here is going to be our main minecart system. And then once you arrive at this checkpoint, you have to get the correct code, and once you do, then the door will open and this little minecart will slide out and you can pass through perfectly safely. Really cool design. However, one of the really cool aspects about it is, let's say you get the code wrong. So let's say we just put in just some random code. The door still opens, but this minecart doesn't come out and we just get propelled off into, well, wherever this leads. I'm sure it'll be someplace really lovely. And if you're wondering how all of this mess works, I actually made this entire thing on a live stream that was super fun. I mean, I say I made it, but Mystic actually helped me quite a bit. I don't know. I mean, I could have figured it out myself eventually, but he did give me a few hints here and there. I'm still gonna say I made it. But for those of you who don't want to sit through, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of me bumbling through various redstone, essentially how it works is the passcode is 1-4, and it has to be in that correct order, because when we hit 1, it travels along this line, gets delayed a little bit, and then extends this piston, which connects up this redstone line right here, which, assuming you got the code correctly, you'll hit this one second, and redstone power will course through this wire and power all the way around here, going all the way under, and a very, very long line, and it will go through and power this rail. But that's not the only thing it does. There's also a sneaky little section in here where there's a redstone attached to this little piston with the slime blocks on it. And this is the really important part, because regardless of whether or not you get the code correctly, these observers right up here are going to come over, they're going to get extended a little bit, come down the line, and they're going to open the door regardless of whether you get the code right or wrong. So if you get the code wrong, this is going to still activate. In fact, let me just show you real fast. So this door is going to activate, and if this doesn't activate, then, well, you just fall straight down. However, if you do get the code correctly, the door still opens, this still powers, but this also gets sent out. So it basically saves you from falling, and you can get safely pushed through and, well, make your way to the next objective. And there's a lot more to it than what I've explained just now. I mean, we've got little repeater locks so that if you put like the wrong passcode in, you can't just immediately put the right one in and spam it to get the correct answer. Well, there's all sorts of different various timings that we had to get just right. Looks like I can finally sleep. Oh, peace and quiet. But yeah, the important thing is that it works really well. I'm super proud of this design. And while yes, it's not very pretty, it's still mine, and that's the important part. And the first of an undisclosed number of systems is complete. This system is exactly like the one I just showed you. It's just a tiny bit smaller. So let me just show you right here. It's the same lock system. So I just do 4-1 like that, or 1-4, depending on how you look at it, and we go through perfectly. So let me just pick this up real fast, if we can go back to the beginning. And now, if I just, let's say I just, you know, push a whole bunch of random stuff, we get sent all the way down here. And what will be down here? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. But I am just so happy with this system. I managed to get it quite a bit smaller than it was before, and I mostly just did that by, you know, putting certain stuff underneath. All the redstone that's under here is pretty compact. And I guess when I say compact, I mean like compact by my standards. I spent a pretty decent amount of time trying to compact this, and well, I could have definitely made it smaller. But one, there are limits to, you know, how much I can do with my redstone ability. And two, I was getting some pretty major diminishing returns on, you know, how much smaller it was getting for the amount of time I put into it. And I just figured it was better to spend more time on other parts of the episode than just making this more and more compact. Which, I mean, we have so much space here, like compacting things just a few more blocks really wasn't gonna make a big difference. But either way, I'm super, super excited about this machine. And while yes, I didn't really change anything in this machine, it's the exact same code as it was before, so anybody who watches the video is gonna know. This is just the first of many, many similar machines. So yeah, you might get past the first one, but will you make it past all the other ones? Well, we'll just have to see and find out. And while I hate to leave everything undecorated, and you know, we haven't even got all of the rail system in place, I think this is where we're gonna end off for this episode. Despite the unfinished nature of all of this, we've got a lot of work done, and I think the rest of it is gonna go pretty smoothly. That, and there's a couple things that we have to get out of the way before we finish the episode. And now for the easiest thing I'll do all day. Well, that was easy. I mean, to be fair, I am really, really good at parkour, as you guys know. And this whole thing right here was created by Lanzalet. Let me just pull out this book real fast because I need to record my score. But yeah, it's the Mustafar parkour course. It's also one of the Star Wars Week things that we have going on the server. And basically, you just can't use an elytra and you gotta do your time. And let's double check and see what my time was. So I double checked the footage, and it looks like basically from the frame that I left the ground to the frame that I actually landed, my time was 0. I'm just going to do this in the same format as everybody else. 0795. It was like just barely under 8 seconds, which puts me firmly in the lead. I mean, did anybody expect anything else? I'm just so good at parkour, you know? And I mean, that was my first try too. So I mean, if I, tried it some more times, then I'm sure I could do even better. Yep. Definitely my first try. And now Lancelet did say that we could run this for free, but just because I'm really nice, I'm just gonna, pop in a few diamonds here. But I mean, we have plenty of diamonds. Why not just help somebody out? Guys, if anybody asked, that was definitely my first try. And now, just like I've promised, we've come back to the podracers. And yes, I will read the lore like I said I would, but I just wanted to mention real fast that the competition actually came to an end, and I didn't win. Yes, that's right. I tried my best, but you know what? You win some, you lose some. And I'm really not even that upset about it. I mean, there are some really cool designs here, including this one right here, which is incredibly loud, created by Axe the Shadow, and this is actually the design that won. But he's got a really, really cool rotor here on the front of it, and I mean, the design is cool as well. But yeah, congratulations to Axe. I'm definitely not salty. Okay, but anyway, there's a lot of cool pod racers over here. I really like GCs as well. There's just so many little details on this. Let me just go into free cam real fast. I love all of these. Yeah, so this is GCs. This is Axes. I think this one over here was Mystics. Mine, of course. Trozo. I think this was Lanzelet and Blue Lapis, and then Raining Dirt over here with the Pillager in it. Oh, I just love this server so much. Well, I'm a little bit nervous to do this, but I said I'd do it, so here we go. And I feel like it's only fitting that if we're gonna do this, we better do this right, and let's read it while we're sitting inside of the pod racer. And I already warned you guys, but just in case you didn't hear the first time, this is really long, so I won't be angry if you click off the video. If you do, then thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. But for those of you who are staying, Vela would no doubt laugh at those who say she grew up in the underbelly of Nar Shaddaa. For one, only the most callous could conceivably refer to what she experienced as growing up. For another, saying the smuggler's moon had an underbelly implied that there was somewhere brighter. The leader of the first slave ring she escaped from at the age of 7 said that Vela was born straight out of a dumpster, and she didn't doubt that for a moment. The leader of the second slave ring that she escaped from at age 9 said that she was only as useful as the coin she brought in, and Vela didn't doubt that either. The leader of the third slave ring that she escaped from at age 14 said that she was as useful as a hut's legs, and Vela couldn't disagree more. When she met Kasula the Hut, she was crouched in an alleyway, gnawing at a bone of unknown origin and questionable sanitation, so enamored by the feast that she barely noticed the splashes of pain as acid rain struck her bared forearms. But 14 years on the streets didn't let her ignore the arrival of the Hut. Kasula the Hut had everything at his fingertips, and all he had to do to get it was murder his father. After killing his father, removing his rivals and taking his birthright, he realized that he didn't actually have everything. Born to wealth, Kasula desired power. Power acquired, Kasula desired influence. Influence acquired, Kasula realized that what he had once considered wealth, power, and influence were mere planets in a galaxy of stars. Intent on becoming master of the entire galaxy, he set his bulbous eyes on his first step in galactic domination, the Ord-Ibana system in the Outer Rim. In the aftermath of Incom Corporation's nationalization by the Galactic Empire, the majority of its scientists and engineers defected, using their talents to secretly fund the rebellion with marvels such as the T-65 X-Wing Starfighter and the T-47 Airspeeder. They were lauded as patriots after the fall of the Empire, but not all of them had such altruistic intents. Gavin Bohr may have been considered eccentric by his fellow engineers, but none doubted his skills. When most of his fellows defected to the rebellion, he instead traveled to Nauhutta, seeking the more lucrative offers that could only be bought in a darker market. Intercepted in customs on Nar Shaddaa by the up-and-coming Kasula, Gavin found exactly what he was looking for. While pod racing was prohibited by the Empire, even its treacherous reach only went so far, and in the depths of the Outer Rim, pod racing continued. Its only rules the morals of its participants, and the only regulations the whims of crime lords, a once dangerous sport became a near certain death sentence. But every fortune seeker in the galaxy knows that with greater risk comes far greater rewards. With the Debana mines closed and no funding to reopen them, Or Debana was only a shadow of its former glory. But Kasula the Hutt was still shocked to find an entire planet being used as collateral for a pod race. Greed driving him into a frenzy, he quickly acquired the services of Gavin Bohr, who developed Fortune's friend based off of his modifications to an early T-49 airspeeder prototype, but he still needed a pilot. The girl was barely a teen to his eyes, a Thelan girl. Her teeth were bared as she crouched over a broken body. A competitor to the disgusting morsel she held protectively behind her back, no doubt. His first thought was disappointment. She was little more than a feral animal, fit to survive on the streets but little use beyond them. Then he saw her eyes. They were calculating, darting about her in search of... The girl leapt, catching Kasula on his repulsor craft off guard, but rather than leap towards him, she was going straight up. She landed easily 15 feet above him, making a break along an exterior ventilation pipe. Section 5B headed your way, Kasula nearly shouted. He wasn't cut out for field work, and yet the stories he had heard of the girl had piqued his interest enough that he had come anyway. Muffled shouts passed through his earpiece, then silence. Well, he hadn't expected this to be easy. Preparation, his father had taught Kasula, and prepare he had. Vela dodged the first attacker and sent the second into the ceiling with a wave of her hand. She hated revealing her abilities, but she sensed the stun bolt just in time, flinging herself off the building, trusting in her. The net encircled her and exploded with electricity, locking her limbs into place. She struggled as best she could, forcing one hand free. If she could just... The last thing she saw was a giant fist flying towards her face before everything went dark. Kasula now has a genius engineer and a state-of-the-art pod racer, but will Vela prove up to the task of piloting it in the most dangerous sport in the galaxy with entire planets riding on the wagers? Only time will tell, but for now, I hope you enjoy this Minecraft rendition of Fortune's Friend. And there you have it. It started raining partway through, as it always does for me. But yeah, it's a little bit heavy on the Star Wars lore, and maybe a little bit hard to follow if you're not really clear on what's going on. But I tried to write it as sort of like a written version of a TV trailer, so you've got like an introduction to one character, and then an introduction to another character, and you know, like the characters meeting, a little exposition pushed in there. I don't know. I like it quite a bit. It could probably be cleaned up a little bit, and you know, whatever. But this channel is about Minecraft, it's not about writing, so I'm just gonna end that there. If you guys actually listened to all of that and made it to the very end of the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I do want to let you know that it might be a little bit longer than usual between this episode and the next one. I've got something really, really big planned, and assuming everything goes correctly, then, well, it's gonna be awesome. I mean, I already said this, but still, I mean, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.